And a lot of my clients are second divorces because they did it the other way the first time. And, they saw how hard it is and how much money they had to shell out. So they decided to go the uncontested route the second time around.
Welcome to Hot Docket, the show where we talk about winning marketing strategies that have built the most successful law firms.
Join us every 2 weeks for the latest trends and tactics to grow your law firm. All right, welcome to the Hot Docket podcast. Today we've got Dori from Divorce Harmony, and I think today we're going to be talking primarily around mediation and uncontested divorces.
This is really, I think, the one family law topic we have not had anybody on to talk about. We've talked, I think, in either the last conversation we had with a family lawyer or the one before, we talked about these different personas of family lawyers where, some just want to make the other side pay and the other want to be super compassionate and keep the kids kind of secure and not put them on through deposition or on the stand to expose things about her. So everyone kind of has a style. I think for mediation, it's probably different than all of those. So I'm pretty curious to see, how Dori can enlighten us.
Yeah, do you want to start by kind of giving us your background and how you started Divorce Harmony?
Sure. Well, I was in law school a while ago, a long time ago, and I don't know, really wasn't for me. I wasn't the typical lawyer. I don't think I fit into that mold, and I practiced for a few years in New York, actually, and then stopped, went into a completely different field. Funny enough, the diamond industry, helping people when they were getting engaged. So kind of the opposite of what I'm doing now. And then I had 4 kids along the way. And then about, 8 years ago, I decided I wanted to try to do mediation. I've always loved talking to people, listening to people's problems, really listening and trying to find solutions for people's problems. It's just something that I enjoy. So I started my practice, and it took me a long time to find that name, but I thought it was perfect, Divorce Harmony. eHarmony did not like it. They actually had a problem with it, but I overcame that because I explained to them that I am helping people divorce, not setting people up on a dating app. So I was able to keep that. And even before COVID, I always knew I wanted to do these mediations via Zoom, where you didn't have to go anywhere, and you can be in your own comfortable house or wherever and not have to even be with your spouse. You both can be in separate locations. Just makes everything more relaxed, and you're able to kind of think about things and make decisions at your own pace. So that's what I've been doing. And it's been really wonderful to help people, first of all, save sometimes 6 figures by going to attorneys. We're really just figuring out things they're going to have to figure out anyway if they went to court. And it's leaving the decision-making power in their hands. And a lot of these things are so personal. It's not things that really should be decided in court. If you can have 2 people that are willing to, come together.
So what triggered you to re-enter legal 8 years ago?
I knew I wanted to do something. My kids were getting older, and it was always something in the back of my mind that I wanted to go ahead and try that. So I just took a certification class in Florida, and then started, sitting in on other mediations to get experience. And, as the years have gone by, it's been great. Everything that I'm picking up along the way. Yeah.
When should people not do mediation?
So, well, if you have a spouse that's not willing to, if you have someone that's abusive, or if you have someone that's hiding resources or, hiding financial information and you're not able to uncover that, because you both have to be completely transparent for the process to work and be able to make, clear decisions with all the information on the table. I always tell people you're going to have to produce that and more if you go to court. So you might as well be forthright. But if the parties aren't agreeing to cooperate, that's obviously not a reason not to do mediation. But I would say most people can get to that point to do it. And a lot of my clients are second divorces because they did it the other way the first time, and they saw how hard it is and how much money they had to shell out. So they decided to go the uncontested route the second time around.
How long does the average mediation process take?
So when you think of mediation, or like traditionally, you probably think about someone sitting in a room for 8 hours, or I don't know, even longer. It's like a torture practice until everyone is in agreement. So I don't do that. With the Zooms, all our meetings are max 2 hours at a time. And then, I'll do like a whole write-up of what we discussed and action items. So we definitely first have that 2-hour meeting, and then, communication between the meetings and then another meeting. So I would just say everyone's different. Sometimes we can wrap things up in a few weeks, and sometimes people want to take their time for whatever reason, and it could be a few months.
Have you found that like niching down into mediation has created new marketing opportunity? Like, maybe better yet, how are you currently getting your clients? Like, is referral a primary source for you, or is it really just people searching on Google? Like, walk us through your
So
funnels.
primarily, it's more and more referrals. Thankfully, the longer I'm doing this, but I do Google ads, Facebook ads. When I first started, I tried to break into having mediations with other attorneys. That has not been my lane for whatever reason. People have always just used whoever they know or retired judges. So I haven't really. Most of my mediations are with pro se clients who don't have attorneys, and I really enjoy that. But I wouldn't be opposed to working with attorneys as well. So yeah, that's how I get most of my clients from the ads and from referrals.
But do you think that people come in knowing that they want to enter mediation, or are people of the mindset, I want a divorce, and you have to convince them that mediation is like the right path?
Most people that I come in contact with know what I'm doing, and they already know they want some kind of uncontested divorce, whether it's just me doing the paperwork or doing the mediation. Because I don't do contested. I don't represent either party.
Do you have a rough sense of what percentage of people go into mediation and it does not work for them, and it just boils over and becomes a bigger issue, and they both hire attorneys?
Yeah. So I would say maybe like 15% of my clients. And that's probably because one person didn't want to do it in the first place, or they're not ready. Because, both parties, almost always, they're on different timetables. One person wants to be divorced yesterday, and the other person maybe doesn't want the divorce. So if they're not, it can be just, where it doesn't work out, and they're not ready to do it, or one person is unwilling to.
Shifting gears a little
Yeah.
bit into like how you became this type of attorney, what type of traits do you think a new lawyer needs to have to be successful as a family lawyer?
Number one, just a good listener, and patience, and be able to separate the stress of the job from your own life and not let it affect, because you have people that are basically good people going through the hardest time in their life, and they want to have access to you at all times, and maybe they don't have those boundaries because they're going through such a hard time. So you have to really be able to separate what's going on with them and keep it out of your personal life. That's why so many people leave family law, I think, because it's just it can be very difficult if you let it get to you. So you have to be able to, separate from from that and kind of compartmentalize that when you're working.
I think we were talking to a criminal defense attorney, or maybe it was a state prosecutor. I don't remember which. And he was saying levels of alcoholism within legal is like one of the top 3 or 4 most prevalent of any industry, because it's just stressful. And I think every type of law might have a different version of that. Like people in criminal defense are seeing people who, are going through one of the hardest times in their lives for a very different reason than somebody who is a personal injury lawyer, but still the same kind of underlying cause.
Yeah, definitely.
Not an easy job. So what advice would you have for folks who might be interested in pursuing the path of like becoming a family lawyer? Is there a first step? Do you think they should, go and, work underneath like at a bigger shop, or do you think they can just go out and start their own thing as like a solo? What's the best way to begin?
I'm all for starting your own thing. I think that's the best. I don't know, to be your own boss, to, make your own way and do things the way that you want to do, if you can do that. And I think family law is a good kind of law to do that. You can start, maybe get a little experience under your wing, but I think that for family law, to start, do something for yourself would be great way to do it.
Why do you think that is? Why do you think family law is like better than other areas of law to start your own shop earlier on in your career?
I just think because you can do things your own way and your own philosophy and not have to answer to anyone else, and, kind of custom your practice the way that you want to do it.
How worried are you about AI taking your job? Or not
It's
at all?
interesting. I'm just starting to just explore different ways that it can actually help me. Yeah, probably one day. I don't know. Although, I have a chat bot on my site. So I always answer. If I don't answer, then I miss it. So they just offered this free AI robot to answer the queries if I'm not there. But it's not so great. Like, it's not me. I guess I can maybe try to train it to be better, but I still don't think it takes the place of a human, but I think eventually it could. And I know even on like the Zooms, I haven't done it yet, but that you can have AI kind of summarize your meetings. Yeah, I'm sure it'll replace everything eventually.
Yeah, I think it might be one of those areas where it has a hard time. Like if two parties are unhappy, finding that middle ground is like a very human exercise.
I do wonder though how much of it is protocol driven though. Like I imagine most conversations probably start at what assets do you have? Do you have kids? Do you have has there been abuse maybe?
Yes,
or
a lot
questions
of it is
like that.
facts.
Has there been criminal proceedings? And then you probably narrow down into each of these to like work out the nitty gritty. But I do wonder like which steps of that they're not checklist driven, but they are protocol driven.
Yeah, but let's say it shoots out terms that would be reasonable. It's a time when someone is highly emotive. So even if it spits out results that it was the same thing a person may have done and said, one side is unlikely to agree to it because there's emotion involved.
So let's say it created this plan of action and you had Dori there to like interpret the results and act as mediator. Could all of her work that is not like the human aspect of it be given to the machine or no?
It almost sounds like an oracle where she looks into a fire and it gives the results and she reads it out.
I think
for
some
them.
people are using
the machine has spoken.
I think you can use it as a tool. You can put things in and they can make a chart for you, or like maybe for like time sharing when you have the different scenarios for the days of the week with the kids. It can really help maybe like display different graphics. I think you could definitely use it as a tool, but I'm sure one day it'll take over. I don't know.
Well, you need the human. I think what Andrew's saying, and I agree with, is you still need the human to interpret the results and like
Explain
answer the questions that people will naturally have from these results. So
Yeah.
it makes sense that you'd still be there regardless until
At
there's,
least
you know,
while I'm still
a
doing it.
robot that has a human voice. then maybe, who knows?
Yeah, but
Maybe this is like how, you know, Terminator starts. It begins with mediation.
right. Yeah, exactly.
I think, like, for me, this is pretty good stopping point. I learned a lot about like the mediation process and who it's for, who it's not for. We learned that AI isn't coming for mediation anytime soon,
Hopefully.
which is probably for the best. And yeah, Dori, we're gonna have links to all your sites, Divorce Harmony, not eHarmony. We'll have those listed below. Anything that our listeners, you know, should pay special attention to? You have anything coming out or anything like that?
No, just really working hard on, the divorce mediations. I am doing now post-nuptial agreements a lot and prenuptial agreements as well. Yeah.
Do you find that a lot of people put in the prenups and the postnups that they want to like bind to mediation, or is that not a thing?
No, that's not really a thing.
All right. It seems like it would be like a good path.
I
so
should do
people
it
would
for
avoid it.
my post-nuptials, because usually the people that are doing post-nups, they probably want to get divorced, but they're just not ready to pull the trigger. But then they become divorce clients a little later after they've sat on it.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, you've probably got like an interesting, you know, email newsletter strategy there where you just keep
Don't
those
have a
people informed.
newsletter because I don't know. Should you have a divorce newsletter? Like, it's kind of
Probably.
hard. I don't think it's what people want.
Probably, maybe not. We have a client, a family law client, who I think I had a similar idea to this. And he was like, no, we're never going to do that because, like, these people, let's say the spouse reads the email
Yeah,
and is like, you're getting a divorce.
I know. And
So
I always
it's-
feel bad with like retargeting. Like if one spouse is looking up divorce, another person, why am I getting all these divorce ads?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
You could probably, there's probably a world where you like, that person gets gaslit. Like, why are you searching for divorces
Right.
nonstop? Why does Google know you want a divorce? But yeah, cool. This was great. Thanks for coming on, Dori. We hope you've enjoyed this episode of Hot Docket. We're your hosts, Bobby and Andrew, founders of MeanPug, the marketing agency for ambitious law firms.
Have questions about marketing or anything we covered today? Email us at bark@meanpug.com.